Hello from lovely, beautiful Atlanta, Georgia. I'm Todd Reed from DKRentals.net. We're a full-service property management company in Atlanta, Georgia. Today we're going to talk about how to market your rental home to get your house rented as quickly as possible with a high-quality tenant. We're going to talk about three different options that you might have that you want to use to get your house rented quickly. The first one is pretty low tech, but it's really guerrilla marketing, and that's the use of signs. I think right now, and everyone talks about the internet, but they kind of downplay signs. But we find signs still to be very, very important in renting your home. We not only put a sign in the front yard, but we also put them out at the street corner, entrance to subdivisions, on busy intersections. The whole idea is that you want to get that phone ringing with potential applicants. A renter is a little different than a buyer, and a lot of your renters are actually going to be walking through the neighborhood or driving through the neighborhood looking for a place that they want to rent, and so that's why it's important to have good signage and do pre-made signs so they look professional. Someone who sees a nice sign is going to think that the house is nicer versus something that just scribbled on a piece of cardboard. Secondly, of course, is you want to use the internet, which is self-evident. But there's a lot of websites out there, and so you want to get to as good a coverage as you can, and you want to try to, if you can, to try to find a tool that'll propagate your listing out to multiple websites, so you don't have to do it all yourself. But here at DK Rentals, we like to use Trulia, Zillow, HotPads, Home.com. Those are all great websites that generate tons and tons of internet leads. Those leads usually come in from over via email. So they'll see your ad, they'll respond and say, "I'd like some more information." And of course, you want to respond as quickly as possible while that lead is still hot. We also suggest that you have a personal website out there, especially if you have multiple rental properties. And the reason for that is cross-selling. We'll have someone call about a property, and we give them information, and it may not be exactly what they're looking for, but we said, hey, we've got another property right down the street. So if you have multiple properties, if you have a little portfolio you're working with, it's a good idea to put on your personal website and try cross-selling. One thing that's real important today, more than ever, is that your website can optimize based upon the device. In other words, if someone's querying your website using a laptop, that's going to render a different screen than if they're querying using a smartphone. Just a few years ago, smartphones, it wasn't as important to have that feature, but today, probably more than half the people are going to be looking at your website via their smartphones. So you don't want them to have to try to look at this tiny screen. You want make sure your website optimizes for that smartphone so they can easily look at your property and also be able to use their location to find properties that are close by that are your properties. And last thing I want to talk about that's real important is that you have a separate phone just for your rentals. You don't want your personal phone to be ringing with people that are inquiring about your properties. And the other thing is when someone is calling and if you have a separate phone number, you know that is a hot lead and you want to answer that call. You put on your professional voice and then you want to treat that lead as gold because truly it is. Everyone that calls, you want to answer the phone quickly, you want to follow up with them and try to get them into your property. Again, your acting professionally is going to help you get a high quality tenant. And the thing that you'll find is as we drive through a neighborhood and we look at other signs down the street for other houses for rent, we're going to call them to find out what our competition is like. And what we'll always find, almost always, is they never answer the phone, and secondly, they rarely even call you back. So if you answer the phone live when they're calling you, they're usually right in the street looking that day for a property. And now and they've been very frustrated with a lot of calls that they've made to others that haven't answered. So they're relieved that they've got you live. They're thrilled. So treat that lead as gold. So if you follow these three tips that we share with you, guarantee that you will rent your house faster and find a better tenant.